Hi, today we're on Unit 8a.2. I can add and subtract polynomials. So that's what we're looking at today in this video. I again would really recommend that you have printed off the notes by now, and when you're watching this video you have those notes out there so you can write this down just kind of like you were in class, because you can use those notes on the test. So very, very important. And also those examples are great to refer back to. So first we're going to look at adding. So when I add, I want to add like terms, and we're going to look at two methods. Horizontal method was where we just kind of keep it out like this, put all our like terms together. And vertical method is kind of like how we did adding in elementary school, and we line up the like terms. So first we'll look at horizontal method. Horizontal method, I'm going to just take, my highest power is 2, so I'm going to put my 2 powers of 2 terms together, so 7y squared with the positive 5y squared. So I'm grouping those like terms together. And then I'm going to put my 2y with my negative 4y. And my negative 3 with my positive 2. So those are all my like terms, and then I'm just going to see how many I have. How many total y squareds do I have? Because that's what adding is, adding it up, totaling it up. So 7y squareds plus 5y squareds gives me a total of 12y squareds. Notice my power's not changing. Negative 2y and a negative 4y gives me a total of, I have 2 things, take away 4 things, 2y's, take away 4y's, I'm in the whole 2y's. And negative 3 ones, and I add 2 to that, I'm in the whole negative 1. So when I multiply that positive and negative, I can write it like this, totally fine, but also we should know positive and a negative is a negative, positive, negative, negative. So this is totally not having double signs there. Right, the next method would be the vertical method, and same thing as before where we're kind of putting the like terms, but now we're just lining them up vertically, and then we're just going to go ahead and again add those together, put those together, so total of 12y squareds, negative 2y, negative 1. So same term, just have to align the notice the terms are in descending order with like terms aligned key there, because you can't put on like terms together. So here, both methods, horizontal method would be, I'm going to put this 4x squared with the negative 7x squared. Adding, so I'm going to put an addition there. I'm going to put this negative 2x with this positive 3x. Still putting them in descending order. And I'm going to put the positive 7 with the negative 9. And you'll probably notice I'm putting those addition signs there, so I remind myself that I'm adding those and not multiplying them to other things. So 4x squared minus 7x squared is negative 3x squared. Negative 2x plus 3x is 1x. 7 minus 9 is negative 2. Vertical method would be to line those up. So I have the 4x squared. Underneath it, I'm going to put the negative 7x squared. Next term is, or next descending term is 2x. And underneath that, I'm going to put the positive 3x. 7 and the negative 9. And then put them below each other. So same thing, putting like terms together, but I am putting them underneath each other. And this is still addition, even though you see that subtraction sign there. 4x squared minus 7x squared have 4 things. I spend 7. I'm in the whole 3x squareds. Negative 2x plus 3x I'm in the whole 2, add 3 to it, now I'm up 1x, and you can write that 1 or not write that 1. 7 minus 9 is negative 2. And see that we get the same thing. It's just kind of how your brain works and what makes sense to you. I have both types of people. I've seen them either both ways. So kind of up to you how you see that. So I'm going to show you these next 2. These are on your notes. I would practice those, work those out, and I would pause the video here because I am going to show you when I change the slide, it'll give you the answer to this so you can check it. And I really do encourage you to try those so you can see if you're understanding it. But that answer is A, and this is the second problem in your notes, and that answer is B. All right, subtraction. Remember that subtraction is adding the inverse. So whenever I see a subtraction, I should think of this as an addition, but changing all of these. It's like I'm distributing this. This has a negative 1 here, and I'm taking and multiplying everything by that negative 1. So I'm distributing that out. So I would rewrite this as, the first one doesn't change because I'm not subtracting that. I'm only subtracting everything in this. Not just the 9y to the 4th, but I'm subtracting everything. So I'm going to add their inverse. So I'm going to change this to addition and change all of these signs. So that's a positive, so it becomes a negative. That's a negative, becomes a positive. That's a positive, becomes a negative. Such a key fundamental part of what you're going to be doing in algebra here on out. So if you can get that, that is awesome. So changed all of those signs. Now I do the same thing as I just did in addition. So if I do it vertically, I would put this is my highest power with the negative 9y to the 4th. So 8y to the 4th with the negative 9y to the 4th. Put those like terms together, and you're going to get where you can just do that without having to write them separately like this, and that's awesome when you get there. So if you're not there, that's okay, because that can be a while. 6y squared with the negative 2y squared, and when you have a lot, I still can sometimes, this is better for me to do it this way. So, and the negative 5y with the positive 7y. So when I take 8y to the 4th and I subtract 9y to the 4th, I am in the whole 1y to the 4th. 6y squareds take away 2y squared, I'm up 4y squareds. And negative 5y plus 7y, I'm up 2y. So there is that subtracted. Vertical method, again, same thing as before with horizontal method. We still want to take and change all of those, add the opposite, so it's still addition. So we change it to addition by changing all of these signs. So add the opposite, and then you get that same thing there. But want to make sure we do that step before we add it, but otherwise it's the same as addition. So let's look at this one. I have subtraction, so I need to change that to adding the opposite of everything in after that subtraction sign. So everything in this parentheses, I am going to change this to addition and change all of these signs. Negative 4n, positive 3, negative 5n squared. Now this one is a really good example because notice my highest power is cubed, but there is no cubed over here. So he has no one to go with. He just kind of hangs out there. Still addition though, so let's keep that. Next power is squared. He goes with this negative 5n squared. So 6n squareds with the negative 5n squared. So adding is just putting those like terms together. And then 2n goes with this negative 4n. And this is the downfall to the horizontal method, horizontal method is, can't even think, guys. Sometimes we forget about him because we used all these up, and so we kind of forget about him. So don't forget about him. He has nobody to go with, but he's still there. And then I put those like terms together. 11n cubed, 6n squared minus 5n squared is a positive 1n squared. 2n minus 4n is a negative 2n, and then plus 3. If I'm doing the vertical method, I'm going to put this in descending order, so 11n cubed plus 6n squared plus 2n. And then I'm going to changed all of these. I'm using these ones. I'm going to put the negative 5n squared with the 6n squared, then the negative 4n, and then the positive 3. So notice nobody's underneath these or above this one, but still get the 11, or same thing. So two methods, hopefully you're getting the same answers. Notice this looks a little bit different, but it is the same answer. So again, if you want to pause the video, work these problems out, that would be excellent. And then you can resume it. But those are your answers for those two. So this is a really good example of just kind of where you might see this. You would see this, I'll usually have like a profit and loss equations in businesses. This one gives you the total amount of toy sales, T. So this is my total equation. The total consists of my video game sales and my traditional toys, which this is traditional toys. So they took the video plus the R and they got T. We want to figure out how we can find an equation that represents how many of the video games we have. So if they took the video plus R and got T, if I take T, subtract the R, that will give me V. So we're going to use subtraction. I'm going to have 0.45 n squared minus 1.85 n squared, and cubed, this was cubed, plus 4.4 n plus 22.6, and I'm going to subtract from that this 0.46 n cubed minus 1.9 n squared plus 3n plus 19. So we're going to use that subtraction. I'm going to kind of go through that without showing each step just for the length of this video. But we'd subtract those two. All right, so when I subtract that, notice these ones all change signs in here. This is the equation I get. So this is my video sales equation. And I just wanted to show this to kind of see, so you could see how it's used. And you can then use that equation to predict like the video sales in this next problem in year 2022. So in 2010, it was 10 years after 2010. So I'm going to substitute, or 12 years after, this should say 12. 12 years, 2022 would be 12 years after 2010. So I'm going to substitute 12 in there, just kind of showing the usefulness of it. And I could predict with that equation what my video sales are going to be in 2022. So plug in 12 in there, doing my order of operations, I could say that my video sales are going to be $10.32 billion. So that just kind of shows you the usefulness of it. Again, if you have any questions, make sure you ask. If you need to contact me, do that, email, call, or whatever you need. Hopefully, that I'm here for you. I will talk to you later. Have a great day.